Hello, everybody, and welcome to this session of Your Dreaming. I'm very happy to be able to present at Your Dreaming this year. Even though it's virtual, I think it's very important we keep sharing insights, experiences, and everything we do within the Salesforce ecosystem. And as we are virtual, we're at this point still a few weeks ahead of your dreaming. And you will definitely have noticed that this session is about AI. Given the fast paced evolution of AI, maybe in a few weeks there will be some new insights by the time this recording is played. For example, a few years ago, I was also a speaker at Your Dreaming 2023 with two of my colleagues. And at that point, we presented a case about sending drones carrying an AED to a patient suffering from a cardiac arrest. The entire solution, based upon the Salesforce product catalog, was at that point based upon Data Cloud and the product Salesforce Genie, for those of you who can still recall that name. I think a lot has happened since then. A few months later, the AI took over. Salesforce invested heavily in AI based upon their products. So Genie disappeared. And today I would approach the AED, which was sent over by drones, in a complete different way than I would have done by then, which is, of course, a logical evolution. But that brings us here today. And today's session is more focused on life sciences and getting a few practical solutions how AI could be applied in the life sciences sector. For this session, don't expect some agents demos. I'm quite sure you will have seen them and you will continue seeing them. What I want to try to do today is give a more functional overview of what domains we could help with AI in life sciences. Before starting doing that, I want to give a small introduction and also point a bit where I'm coming from, where this idea is coming from. First of all, my name is Nicolas Delahaut. I'm a partner at MedMinds. MedMinds is a Salesforce company, a Salesforce consultancy focused purely on life sciences, on the entire life science sector with life science specific solutions such as Health Cloud and Life Sciences Cloud, to which I will come in a minute. That's what brings me here. Of course, given the entire idea, I think it's important to start with the sector. The sector itself, life sciences sector, is a hugely data-driven sector. There is a lot of data going on, going from ACP engagement to real patient data, patient appointments, and so on. So there's a lot of data available on which we can really work, we can really act. But it's also a sector which is always under some kind of pressure. Nurses are overworked, not only in Belgium, over the entire world, there are similar issues. Plannings are not optimal. There's a constant evolution, a constant competition between companies in selling and optimizing drugs. And that's, of course, also the reality that it's a very profit driven sector, which means that efficiency gains due to AI can be quite important or a real differentiator in this sector. So that's the second point, the life sciences sector. And then there's, of course, Salesforce, as we are here together in the Salesforce community. And that's the solution of Salesforce for life sciences. And I mentioned it before, Life Sciences Cloud is the new industry solution specifically pointed on that sector due to a lot of events in the markets for CRM for life sciences companies. Salesforce started building on Life Sciences Cloud 2 years ago. It was announced in Dreamforce 2023, and it's still heavily evolving. And I think that's quite important because also since 2 years, since a year and a half even, the AI sector is the AI evolution is really speeding up in an unprecedented way. So the life sciences cloud is really a Salesforce product which is built hand in hand together with the life science evolution, which makes it that Salesforce can claim it's built upon AI, it's built AI first, but it's making sense that it doesn't have any of the legacy or older views. It's built knowing what was coming with AI. So it totally makes sense to start searching for use cases to use AI within life sciences. AI again. Uh, yeah, I think if you look at the Your Dreaming calendar, there are at least 5 sessions about AI, which of course totally makes sense given that it's the next evolution and all parts of the ecosystem, going from Slack to the Sales Cloud to Service Cloud to B2B, are involved. What I will try to do today, as mentioned, is list a few use cases, is go over the topics important for life sciences sector, which in which AI can add some value. And to make that quite simple, you're not going to see a presentation of 1,000 slides all step by step. It's functional. How would it be possible? What would be possible? And where would we invest first? Now, before we get into it, we also need to keep in mind what the goal of AI is. And the three topics here are not made up by me. They are covering the Salesforce vision of AI. And of course, they are making sense. And I think we need to keep them in mind in going to the real use cases. We want to make it easier for customers. Makes sense. Quicker result, better customer care, more available data. Increasing productivity, doing more work in less time, do better work in less time. That's simply what's always been pushing people ever since and even before the Industrial Revolution. Make smarter decisions based upon data. And this is for me a very important one because there is quite a lot of data, and AI can help guide us through all of that data, through all of the massive complex databases to make the right decision. We still can make the decisions, but very well informed. And if we look at the history, and that's depending on your age, but in a lot of movies, people went to the libraries, taking some books out, searching for the answer themselves. That's ancient history. But also Googling stuff is meanwhile ancient history. Because if you're Googling, you need to open 15 tabs, you need to cover the different tracks, while you now have a ChatGPT functionality in which you enter a prompt, which is going to combine all sources and give you actually the answers on a platter. And this makes a huge difference and makes a huge benefits of AI. Not on ChatGPT for if you want to know a small thing or want to rewrite a text, but also within businesses where you need to cover lots and lots of data in an easy way. Now, in what instances would we be able to use AI in life sciences? And when you touch that base, one of the first things which always comes to mind is scheduling. Scheduling is quite important and not as easy as saying, I'm picking up my phone, calling to my doctor for an appointment this afternoon. That's a simple case. There's so much more difficulty in that when everything gets more and more complex or we go into hospitals. There is the availability of medical professionals and also based upon the skills of the medical professional. Who is the best to treat you in which case? There's, besides the medical professionals, also the device availability. In specific examinations, think about MRIs, they need to be running day and night to cover for their costs. Then there's a sequence of medical procedures. Some medical procedures have a very fixed sequence in which you have 2 weeks exactly in between different treatments. And then there's, of course, the matter of just optimizing the work days, not having a gap in between patients, but being able to cover all of your patients in between. So it's a lot of combinations to be made, which today often is even manual labor, not even automated, in which nurses need to sit together to do their schedule and give the schedule to the head nurse who will finalize it. And that's a example of shift management. Patients call in, patients enter a form in a website. All of that can be made easy. Having decent forms, but also having AI optimize it every step of the way. Opening up slots. There's a slot booked at 1 o'clock. Okay, as of now, we are booking the next slot of 2 o'clock, and so on. So, this is, I think, one of the key examples often used within life sciences of scheduling. Second example is training. And training is a very traditional thing in which people give lectures within congresses, within seminars, or within the medical sector, often medical representatives who are going to see HCPs, healthcare professionals, to educate them about the products they can prescribe from their employer, to give a bit of background, to sell it from a medical point of view. So the ACPs are well informed about what they can prescribe and in what cases. Of course, medical sales reps going out to all the ACPs has its limitations. There's a limitation about how much medical sales reps you can send out. They come to a doctor who are often very busy scheduled. And it might be not the right timing in which they have that question. They will have the question when they have a specific patient or a specific case. And then it's, of course, in terms of timing, difficult to say, okay, let's call back. And then there's people availability. So what AI can here help with is within a specific environment. Let's call it an experience cloud environment. Give the ACPs the access and the possibility to ask questions through an agent to a database of product information. And it would hugely benefit large pharma companies who can combine a lot of information on the platform. It can be for one product company to just put all their information together and give the possibility to ask question about it, in which you can get standardized correct answers, in which you have the answers at your disposal whenever it is needed, in which the sales reps can still educate on a more personal level. They can still give information about the products on that personal level. But AI can do the heavy lifting, the standardized answers at the spot. He has a question about the product, there's a patient in front of him, he can't be calling his medical sales reps, he can be asking AI to search for the data, put at his disposability by the pharma company. A third example is participant management. And I think this is a very sensitive topic in which patients want to be eligible for clinical trials. You have a specific disease, there are trials. These trials can be lifesavers. Are you eligible to participate in those trials? I think it's a very sensitive topic in which you will not, for people, it will feel strange to let AI decide you can participate in the trial and you're not. But on the other hand, AI can give a certain level of objectivity. Given your patient parameters, given the trial's entry criteria, what is the match? Because it's not a yes no match, it's a match of the specific symptoms, the specific stage of the disease, given the trial, given the wideness of the disease, if it's a rare disease versus a very common disease. It's a very specific exercise to define whether a patient can enter the trial. And okay, let's not be too confident in AI. They can give an objective estimation of a patient is a 85% match for this specific trial, and then let the ACPs, based upon that information, make the final decision, taking into account every human determinant, every trial determinant, and so on. But given the objectivity, given the difficulty to compare for one doctor against the database of possible trial participants, it can add some value for those patients and ACPs within that trials. A last case is more an in-depth example than the previous ones, in which I will try to set the stage by having a KOL on the left. KOL is a key opinion leader. It's a healthcare professional who is a leader in his area. They have a significant standing in a specific domain, in a specific specialization, and they are key for pharmaceutical companies to have your product prescribed, known around the medical community. And that part is, of course, very important for a pharmaceutical company on the right of the screen, in which the main goal is, of course, to sell as much as possible, and therefore it needs to be prescribed by doctors, by medical professionals, among which the KOLs. Now it's up to those ACPs to describe your product. But it's not a simple one-to-one solution. It's not this particular doctor likes your product, so therefore he will prescribe your product. No, it's more a balance in between a lot of characteristics. Different patients have different needs. There are different drugs to cover these different needs. So even though the KOL might be a fan of your product, might be in favor of your product, it might still be that he is prescribing a significant part of your competitor's product. How would we define that? There are so many variants, there are so many data, and this is also very specific data. It's not, mostly in Europe will be difficult data to get. In the US, there are possibilities, there are claims data companies can purchase. And based upon all of that data, if you have those data sets, if you are investing in it to build it up, then you want to have the value of it. And the value of it is, of course, that AI can search and work their way through all of that available information to make you identify the KOL's behavior, his current behavior. He's prescribing 90% of his cases for your drug, but also is the evolution of his behavior and predicts the future behavior, in which the system AI can see that it's tending, even though 90%, it's still trending away from you because there are some prescriptions which could be a perfect fit for you. As mentioned, all dependent on availability of data wherever that's possible, but having that data and giving it in AI would be such a use case to take action on it, because that's then the final step. You know it, you can predict it. Within your Salesforce environment, there are easy ways, there are complex ways to make sure your medical sales reps, your sales reps are going to the KOLs and are making sure they have the message. They can pinpoint, why didn't you subscribe in this instance? Why not in this instance? How would we be able to facilitate you better? Are we noticing that you don't prescribe for older people? There are concerns about the product for older people, and so on and so on. So it's really predictive and actionable on that data. So that's a bit what I had to say about those concrete use cases of AI. As it's a virtual session, I think around this will be giving you an insight uh, what's possible. But what's possible today, if there's a year dreaming in 26, 27, it's of course possible that everything has been changed by then. Probably there's more enhanced possibilities with regards to AI. Also with regards to the entire life science solutions. Life Sciences Cloud will be released in September, will evolve along with AI as mentioned. So there is still so much ahead in the future that's probably after a few months, a lot of AI sessions are outdated, but then we keep doing the same again and again, of course. If you want to get in touch, you can see my contact details here. Always happy to connect on an in person base. But until that time, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this session, and see you next time.